about the same stuff that existed when Dr. King was alive. And what I'm saying to y'all, and I'm going to end it here, because I think we need to have a community conversation about solutions and action steps and how we can link together. I got hope. To you, talk about how they love Dr. King, and most of them will not even be able to tell you anything about Dr. King's work or his speeches or sermons the last 3-4 years of his life, where he was challenging people across the board in education, in the faith-based community, in leadership, about being hypocrites for the communities they claim to be representing. Y'all know what I'm talking about. And we do a disservice to these young people that are sitting here today. We do a disservice to them if we're not honest with them, if we don't listen to their voices, if we don't encourage them to be critical thinkers, if we don't understand that just as we're teaching them some stuff, there's stuff that young people 15, 13, 18, 20 years old can teach us. That's an arrogant educator, an arrogant leader, an arrogant adult who thinks that she or he has nothing to learn from young people. Y'all with me? So I want to leave it there because I feel we got to talk about where we are. And I want to thank y'all for having me. And let's get the microphones, pass them around. Let's have an action-oriented, solution-oriented, passing email addresses, phone numbers, whatever we got to do, conversation. That's what I'm interested in. Thank y'all.
First question.
Or comment, or pushback, or feedback. Anything you want to do.
Don't be scared.
You talked, I can talk loud. You talked about external racism.
Yeah.
But many of us here in Washington, D.C. experience internal racism.
Oh, yeah.
You have the Southeast don't like Northwest.
Yeah.
You have the brown versus the black man. And we won't even talk about the other stuff. How do we overcome all those isms so that we can become a one together?
Knowledge, reading. You know, let me ask you a question. And be honest about it. You know, don't lie if it ain't you. But if you, how many people here are African? Just by raising a show of hands. How many people here are Africans? That's the first problem right there. Everyone here is African. Even white folks acknowledge that. Go to the Huffington Post and you'll see articles written by white sisters and brothers saying that all civilization began in where? That land base known as Africa. That's the first problem. We don't know who we are. And so when you don't know who you are, you engage in self-hating, sabotaging. Versus I'm an alpha college campus, light-skinned so-called versus so-called bad hair. If you got hair, you got good hair. You know what I'm saying? You know, African Americans versus West Indians versus Africans. You can go on and on and on. All of it is self-hatred. But what I'm saying to you, I think we got to be careful about, in my humble opinion, is that the root cause of all this is systemic oppression, or what we call racism. And so, be it the external racism or the internal racism, it all goes back to that system of oppression that miseducates all of us. You know, which is why my brother David Miller, talk about your children's book that you just created. You know, why is that important? To see us doing certain things. Talk about it.
98% of all children.
Can you pass him the mic so everyone can hear him, please?
98% of all of the children's books that are published in the United States are published by people who don't look like us. So myself and a whole bunch of other people are really trying to change the game and dramatically increase the number of children's books that are written and illustrated by black and brown authors. Several years ago, when I wrote a book about a boy. Haley Garimo on Georgia Avenue.
That's right.
That brother's an icon. That business is struggling. Over 60% of the black bookstores have closed in the United States in the last 5 years.
And maybe folks at Politics and Prose knows what I'm talking about. It's a book about two of George Washington's slaves, but they're happy because they're figuring out how to bake a cake for him. It's a children's book of two black folks, a father and a daughter, smiling away as they're baking a
is Edwin Buckner.
Come over so they can see you, sir.
My name is Edwin Buckner, and you touched on a couple of things. First of all, last 13 years, and I see some of my youngers in there, and I actually wear a uniform at Blue. Always want to educate just on one side, where we should be educating on both sides. And I'm talking about I wear a uniform. So I also want to and take a personal invite to bring you up to Blue, because we do a men's day up there and we do a women's day. But if you're not from this immediate area, you know, every time you see something about Blue High School, it's always something negative. It could be somebody who is 25 years old who has had some type of unfortunate incident, but somehow they get all the way back to Blue. So what I try to do for my youngins up there is that I teach them both sides. I don't tell them all right or all wrong, but I tell them always, and this is to any young person, take and that's what I tell them. I say, you know, especially black young men and girls, there's a peer pressure to where as though I'm going to make you fight. I'm going to make you fight me. And I've already said I don't want to fight. I look soft when I go back to the neighborhood. So what I try to teach people is to use words that can. I always have little brothers and sisters. So I tell my young folk, if you know it's wrong and it seems wrong, you can always say, hey, look, I got to go get my little brother or my little sister.
Right.
I got to go pick them up, which most people can understand. I want, and I'm giving you you up there to give this, and even that young beautiful sister who says she out there at Fieldsville Military Academy, I want them to come on up to the same way I am now is the same way I was back there 13 years ago. But we need to see stuff.
I agree.
Black folk need to see stuff. You know, I'm an Omega.
Okay. I'm at
Texas Southern University. I heard you. So, we need to see stuff, and that's what I try to talk to the young folk about. Now, granted, sometimes I have a job, but as adults, everything I do is a teaching moment, whether it's negative or good.
That's right.